Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kitty Ambers and I serve as the Chief Growth Officer at AVYST, an insurtech company focused on helping you improve the efficiency of data capture at the point of sale. In my role, I focus on helping agencies improve their workflows, specifically around tools that enhance sales results. During our time together on this webinar, I'll be sharing some key features of eForms Wizard that our clients and your fellow PIA members are finding extremely valuable as they are working from home. Because eForms Wizard is fundamentally designed to replace a pen and paper at the point of sale, by embracing this digital solution, producers, account managers, and other sales support personnel are able to collaborate and work efficiently together, even when they can't be face-to-face in the office. I'm going to highlight 5 key features of eForms Wizard that have become vital in supporting agents during this time of physical distancing, working from home, virtual client visits, and other challenges created by policies and guidelines that have been implemented as part of the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent response. The 5 things I'll focus on include how eForms Wizard works both offline and online, how agents can grow their insurance knowledge using eForms Wizard, how eForms Wizard promotes automatic cross-selling and account rounding in those agencies that are committed to a sales culture. We're going to show how easy it is to convert a submission into a single PDF document. And we're also going to show how the editable version of an eForms Wizard client folder promotes team collaboration and operational efficiency. Again, thank you for joining me. Before I jump into these 5 points, I do want to take just a moment to provide a quick overview of what eForms Wizard actually is for those of you who might not yet be familiar. eForms Wizard is a software application. It works on a Windows laptop, a desktop, a tablet, or any combination of those tools. It allows users to capture data electronically or digitally so that they can get to market faster with more complete and accurate submissions. Specifically, features of the app allow data to be entered once and then flow across all types of forms: ACORD forms, company unique applications, supplemental apps, questionnaires, and more. And it works in airplane mode, so it's an extremely effective tool for producers to use out in the field where internet access can be both iffy and insecure. The International Risk Management Institute, or IRMI, their glossary of insurance terms is integrated at the field level. So as a producer is working through an application and either needs to answer a client question or maybe isn't sure about how a particular item is relevant to a risk, the glossary is dynamically at their fingertips. This allows users to build their insurance knowledge on the job and answer client questions with confidence. If you haven't seen a demo of how eForms Wizard empowers producers and account managers to get submissions to market faster, I encourage you to visit www.avyst.com/go to learn more. Quite simply, I encourage you to think of eForms Wizard as a replacement for the pen and paper at the point of sale. But as you'll learn in a moment, there are quite a few other reasons why all PIA members should take advantage of eForms Wizard. Now, for the meat of today's presentation, we're going to take a look at 5 features that can help you overcome various challenges that have been created as a result of COVID-19 and new ways of doing business. I'm going to move over into the eForms Wizard software application for this section of the program, so please stand by a second while I make a quick switch. So our first point we're going to cover is how eForms Wizard allows you to work offline, disconnected from the internet. while you are working in a client, everything that you're going to see, you have access to offline. So keep that in mind as we work through this. In eForms Wizard, it's a quite simple, intuitive software application to have you learn, but you'll have access to all 860 plus Accord forms, along with a growing library of supplemental applications and questionnaires. We release updates about every 6 weeks, and these updates include more and more applications and questionnaires every single time. So when you are in eForms Wizard working in a client, you can see, again, very simple setup. I have created a new client for us, so we will skip that step. You don't need to watch me type. Immediately it's asking me, hey, you don't have any forms for this client yet. Let's select some forms. So I'm prompted immediately to open the forms library. So what you are seeing here is, again, organized, filterable access to all of the forms in the system. This is part of the Gold subscription package, by the way. So even if you don't have access to the internet, this is here for you. So imagine being out in at a client's location and deciding that, maybe you hadn't thought ahead about what sort of forms you would need. You have the ability right at your fingertips to open up this library and grab the forms you need. Another key thing to keep in mind is that because this is available offline, it is a fantastic tool to have installed on laptops or the desktops of people working remotely. It can be called on when your web or cloud-based solutions aren't available. So again, it's a great way to be responsive with maybe taking a claim report or a service request or an agent of record letter when others have no access, you have no access to your other systems. And again, as PIA members, everyone in your office has access to eForms Wizard Bronze for free. It's included with your PIA membership dues. So we really do encourage you, get people signed up, get the software downloaded, even if it's just as part of your disaster recovery plan. Now, as I mentioned, we've opened up a new client and we're going to now pick out some forms. So I have the ability to sort any number of ways, whether I want to sort by distributor, which we think of as insurance companies. Maybe I want to search by form type. So you can see there, we can choose specialty apps or flood apps. Maybe I'd like to search by line of business, by state, narrow things down by state. And a lot of the most popular searches are done using the Google-like search box. So here I happen to know that for this client, I'm going to want to grab the 125, I'm going to want to grab the 126, I'm going to want to grab the 130. However, you might know forms by heart if you do. If you don't, search on the terms you're looking for. I'm looking for the workers' comp general app here, not the state specific one. And you can see I've got a couple of options, so I'm going to grab the most current one. And then let's say I'm going to pull the 140 and let's get the property in there. So once I've selected my forms, I'm ready to open. And what this now does is based on my setup that I have preloaded, my agency information, my producer information is all loaded at setup. You can see a lot of this already has started to pre-fill for me. So a great way to save a couple of keystrokes, and then anytime I enter anything on any one of these forms, it is going to then pre-fill anywhere else in the form set that that data element appears. Again, the big point here is all this can happen without needing to be connected to the internet. Now, one of the things I mentioned as one of the points we wanted to cover is that education is right at your fingertips. So your staff members who are using eForms Wizard Gold subscription have the ability to educate themselves. During this time when folks are working from home and it's not quite as easy to peek over the cubicle wall or walk down the hallway to a co-worker's office to get a coverage question answered, eForms Wizard Gold users have the access to that ERMI glossary of terms right where they are working. I'm not working on two screens. I'm not jumping in and out of programs. I'm not opening and closing browsers. I am in one place working through something that's familiar to me every day, but every now and again I get stumped and I need to answer a question. So let's say I'm going to add some information here, and gee, maybe I'm new to commercial lines and I don't know what aggregate. Look over here. I have the ability to pop right in there and teach myself what aggregate means. Maybe I need a little bit more information beyond the definition that it's a limit in an insurance policy stipulating the most it will pay for all covered losses sustained during a specified period of time. If I need more information, I can readily jump into the full glossary, enter for additional search terms, and continue to either answer my client's questions or educate myself. All the while, I don't lose my place where I was working. So you'll see here, I very easily hit the back button to return to the client and exactly where I was in my application that I was working on. So again, great tool to help train people and to be able to answer your clients' questions while you're right there with them rather than entering into some kind of phone or email tag because you have to look the answer up when you get back to the office. Now, point number 3, I'll start with a question. How often do you or an account manager, as an account manager, maybe it's your producer you work with, how often do you forget those supplemental applications for a particular risk or line of business? It's very easy to do. But with eForms Wizard, you can make cross-selling and account rounding so much more automatic using our packages feature. You have the ability to create custom packages based on niche and account size, maybe by department, maybe by state. The only real limit is your imagination. So to create a package, you are literally going into the library and choosing the forms you like. So as a point of demonstration, I'm going to build out a little bit of a package for our agency's fine dining program. So we're going to name it. I do always encourage some consistent naming conventions as we onboard you. We talk a lot about that as part of training. But I'm going to name this one for my agency, our restaurant program, but the fine dining version. Again, I'm right back to that forms library I showed you a little bit earlier. And you know I have several carriers that offer really nice packages for upscale restaurants, and I want to be sure that my producers gather the information so we can quote that every single time. There might be some supplementals that I want to be sure are included as well. Maybe I want to cross-sell EPLI and I want to dump that into my package every single time. So that's the beauty of packages. So I'm going to real quick create this one for our restaurants. I know I'm going to want the 125. I happen to have made myself a little list to make it a little easier on myself. The 125, I'm going to do the 131 for the umbrella. We'll use the 2017 version of the Accord form for that. We're going to grab the property. We're going to add some equipment breakdown just to make sure I have that if I need it. Here's the Accord restaurant supplement. But I know I have some carriers, but maybe I don't quite remember who they are. So I'm going to do my Google search option here, and let's see. Let me grab my Travelers and my Harleysville, and well, heck, I might as well grab them all. And so now I am able to add all of these forms into a package And now, every single time I want to quote a fine dining restaurant, I've got all the forms I need. Think of this as a file folder of forms or questionnaires that you would take out on a call. You've just done it digitally. And now you have that ability to capture data in one place, have it pre-fill anywhere else the data appears. So for sales managers or account managers, you can create these packages once based on the things you want to write, the things you know you have great markets for, again, niches that you're involved with, and then you simply share the package. So now I've created my restaurant package. So now I can simply share it. And when I select this option, it is going to put this package in a nice zip folder, and it's gonna prompt me to then email this out to, let's say I want to send it out to all of my producers that write restaurants, and then they can very easily use the import feature to import that package, and again have it right there at their disposal exactly the way you created it as their sales manager or account manager. So now let's think about using that package. And there's a couple different ways we might want to use it. So I've got a restaurant started. You can see I've got Becky's restaurant here that I started to work on, but I got as far as entering her name and some basic information. I haven't yet selected forms. Well, rather than selecting those individual forms, I have the ability to open the package. So I can open it right here while I'm working and setting up the client. I actually can, as I'm adding a brand new client, I have the option to choose the package at the very beginning of the process. This works beautifully if you're teamed up with an account manager who maybe gets a lot of information gathered initially and sets the package up and enters the client information and then shares this information with a producer who's now ready to go out in the field to start to visit with the client and gather that information. So again, package is a powerful, powerful feature for cross-selling, for time saving, and for ensuring you get those supplementals, they don't get forgotten again. Now let's think for a minute about some specialty lines of business with regard to packages. So let me go on back to one of my existing clients. We'll go back to Jason's advertising that we initially set up. And maybe in the course of conversation with Jason, I uncover that part of what he does is a huge amount of website design and maybe some social media work, and it really starts to sound like I probably should suggest some cyber liability to this advertising firm. So another great use for the ability to add a package. So I'm in the midst of this, but rather than going through and selecting a form at a time, I can come in here and, I know I've got some great cyber markets, so I can just come in here and open the package in the middle of this account. So, here's my cyber package. It's got all my favorite cyber markets in it. I can dump this in, and again, it will then pre-fill all the things that are already entered, so I can just hit on the things that I need to be able to then finish up the data gathering so I can get this submission off to market. So again, packages, powerful thing. The fourth point we wanted to talk about is thinking about workflow and optimizing the use of time, really. Many producers, we find, are responsible for getting their own applications completed and sent off to market. So that can be challenging, especially if you're working from home and you're trying to print, or you're trying to then print and scan because you've got one document that's in a Word document. Maybe you have one document that's in a spreadsheet. Maybe you've got other things that are, photographs, things like that. That can be challenging to get all that together. Well, we take the ease at least out of the forms part of that by allowing you to put a PDF together very simply. It takes seconds, literally, to put this together and get it ready to go to market. So within eForms Wizard, you have the ability to then simply share your work, basically. So we're going to use our little sample policy or sample client here, and I'm going to just select, maybe I've got a special work comp market, and I want to just get this off to my work comp market. So I really don't want to send the whole thing, but they'll work with me if I just send them the 125 and the work comp app. So I have the ability to grab those two by just checking the checkbox and using our share feature, which then asks me and gives me lots of options. How do I want to share it? Do I want to share just the current form? Do I want to share all the forms, or just those selected forms? And in this particular case, I'm going to share the selected forms. Notice it immediately encourages me to password protect this document, and then I'm ready to send. It's reminding me one more time that I'm sharing some data. And what this is now doing is, with the click of a couple of buttons, it is taking those two applications we chose, and it is packaging them up in a nice PDF, and it is launching my email browser. So it's literally here working on opening Outlook for me. So it immediately prompts me to send that off to wherever it is I would like it to go. So again, great way to very efficiently get things finished and gone. And remember, point number one, you can do this while you're offline. So it's the ability to literally sit there and finish what you're working on, even if you're not connected to the internet. Get it packaged up, get the email ready to go, and then as soon as you are back with a secure internet connection and launch your email, off it goes to market. So again, very powerful time saver, very powerful communication tool. In the same vein, just like I'm sharing my screen with you, and I really, this is kind of an add-on bonus comment here. I really encourage you to think about doing this kind of work, sharing your screen with your clients or your prospects. You can use Zoom, you can use GoToMeeting, you can use FaceTime, some other virtual meeting tool, and you can walk through the questionnaire or the application with your prospect, and they get to see what you're working on. If it's a claim report, think about using that claim to have a good conversation. Let them, show them the data you're capturing, help set the expectation, and adding that visual component to a client or prospect conversation really does build a personal connection, and it helps build that critical element of trust we know is so important in our relationships. So that's just a little added bonus thought. Now, our fifth point we wanted to cover, if we think about all the restrictions and protocols for physical distancing and the requirements that we are living with these days, we can't go into the office with our handwritten notes, and we can't sit down at a desk side by side and review all of the scribbles that I've brought back on the prior year deck page, or maybe the cocktail napkin. So it's critical that we have a tool for sharing information we're gathering. I wanted to get back to Becky's restaurant and make sure that we are getting those forms added, because I want to show you a little bit about the a great way to collaborate with others on your team. It is a great way for a producer to be out in the field gathering information and then get that data that they've gathered electronically, digitally, back to their CSR or placer or account manager for completion and submission, if that's your workflow. So using the same share feature that we talked about with regard to the PDF creation, we can do the same sort of thing with internally. So, I've gone out, I've visited with my restaurant, Becky's restaurant, and I've got all of the supplementals here. Yeah, they're maybe somewhat filled out. Maybe there's some finish work to do, but I can now share all of this rather than handwritten notes. I can share this with my team. So same share feature, I am going to share, but I am going to share all the client forms as an AVYST client folder. Now again, prompting me to create a PDF. And then when I select send, it is going to create a fillable version of this. It doesn't like that my Outlook isn't open. It's going to create a fillable version of this with an AVYST extension on it so that you know that it's an AVYST client folder. And then just like we imported our package, any user of eForms Wizard can then import that client folder and basically pick off where the other person left off, pick up where the other person left off. So again, using that same share feature, but selecting the client folder, you have the ability to pass off to a teammate or any other eForms Wizard user for that matter, all the work you've already done. Think about the power of submitting to your MGA all the work that you've done so that they can then package it up and get it off to their markets. So again, a lot of very powerful time-saving things. And it truly does embrace the idea of efficiency and agency collaboration. So those were 5 quick things. Again, if you have not experienced the full AVYST eForms Wizard demo and literally from how we get set up to where we are today, I encourage you to do that. You can take a look at AVYST.com. And we have a partnership area where we have numerous partnerships with folks across the industry. There you have the opportunity to find the full demo. You can order your free version of eForms Wizard, or you could download, get right to where you download the software if you've already received a welcome, but you don't know what to do with it yet. You can also find training resources, and of course you can contact us at any time. We have many ways that you can reach us that we can help you. I did just want to take a minute and share things that you'll want to be aware of when you hit our partnership page. Number one is, again, to activate your software. So you can get right to our portal where you'll be prompted for your email address. If you haven't set a password, don't worry, use the forgot password. And if your email address is in our system, it will prompt you to reset so you are on your way to installing your software. Another thing that you can do is take a look at the various levels of subscriptions and the pricing information. It's important to understand that for PIA members, Bronze, again, is free. It's a member benefit. So you, at a minimum, get a bunch of different Accord administrative forms. You also get your PIA, both CETA and Utica E&O applications this way. So again, another time-saving tool for sure to get them submitted to the office seamlessly. And then the gold includes everything we talked about today in terms of these, 5 key things that we're finding are super valuable these days. Another thing you'll find when you visit the website is how to order or upgrade your subscription. So again, it's very simple. Tell us who you want us to set up licenses for. A lot of times the information goes directly to the agency principal. Share that information across your office, because this is open to anyone in your office. Anyone is able to order either the bronze at the free level for PIA members or the gold at the 50% off discount. So I can't say enough how valuable that $50 per user per year is. And then of course, training and resources. We have a very robust training and resources page. We have the ability for you to download your Getting Started guide. It literally walks you through everything from customizing your setup to shared file locations to how to create those packages we talked about. We also have some quick reminder videos. So if you just want to pop in and say, okay, how do I set my agency up? Just visit our quick video. We also obviously have 800 number available. We have our info at is a very quick way to get to us via email. And on our website, we have online chat available. So lots of ways to reach us and get help if you get stuck, but hopefully we have done a good enough job with our Getting Started setup guide that it guides you through anything that you need to know. We do understand that folks tend to do this on evenings and weekends, so we want to make it as easy as possible and give you all the resources you need. So again, reach out to us. Let us help you get started. Take advantage of this powerful tool that is incredibly affordable, incredibly easy to use, incredibly intuitive, and can make such a huge difference in your business. Best of luck to you. Again, please reach out as we can help. And thanks so much for listening in today.